Welcome, guys. And it is that Friday feeling kind of time. Friday, end of the week. How are you feeling, David?
Feeling good. Woo! Really good. Feeling good. Easter's gone. That chocolate hangover's gone. So, really, it's Friday, but it feels good. Feels good, yeah. What about yourself?
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Awesome, mate. Yeah, awesome. Had a great week this week. So feeling motivated and looking forward to this session because I think that today we're talking about how not to take things personally. And I think when you're in business, that's something that's really, really close to our hearts, isn't it? Because I don't know about you, but if somebody criticizes my business, I find it really difficult not taking it personally. And I do have to check myself. Because I mean, your business is your baby, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you put so much energy and love into it. And I know Blam comes from a place of heart and service, and this is what you do. You want to help people all over the world. And if you get someone who doesn't quite see it that way, we do, because it's like someone insulting a member of our family.
Yeah, and that's and you're right, because I think if you come from a place where when we're in business, we all try really hard, don't we? We all work on our businesses, and it's kind of all consuming. Entrepreneurs have got that sort of way about them that means that just when it gets to 5 o'clock, the working day's not over. You're going to be you're going to be dreaming about your business. And so when you put that much energy into something, if somebody starts picking flies and if somebody starts being, negative towards your business, and as you and I have both experienced, towards you personally, it's really difficult not to let that get you down.
Yeah, of course, because we're seeing it in social media now. It's a hot topic, isn't it? With social media and sports people, famous people being trolled for the sake of it. I've experienced that. And I guess when you are setting out yourself in a business, whether it be a cafe on the high street, whether you're a plumber or whether you're an online business, you're the face of that business, and people can make it personal to get to you, to get the business through you. It's happened, and we have to look at it as this is where the information goes, through our ears and eyes, and then if we let it go from there to the heart, that's where it hurts, because our brain doesn't hurt. Our brain, it takes information, but the minute it goes there is the minute that we start to feel it, and that's when anybody watching this video now, whether they're live or on record the replay, to think about your business. Of course, it's you, but the more successful you're going to get, the more people are you going to get who support you. But there's also another type who won't support you, and that's the time when you got to start thinking, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this business? And not to question why you're doing it, but why am I? And it just, that then centers you. I feel it centers me when I think, what is my message? I mean, if I say to you, Grant, what is your message to the world through Blam? What would you say?
Well, I think our message is very clearly defined. So, and it's two-pronged. It's a message that is for the Blam team, and it's a message that I need to make sure that every member of the team understands and is on par with. And then it's the message that we give out to the world. And our message it's in a statement that we've defined, that is that our purpose is to help Blam partners achieve sustainable success by selling digital marketing products to entrepreneurs around the globe. That is our purpose. And everything is guided by that purpose for us. So every member of the team knows that our main purpose is to help Blam partners achieve sustainable success. And that is, everything comes back to that for us. But I would suggest, and this might be going slightly off tangent, that lots of businesses don't necessarily define their purpose that succinctly. I find it just, if everybody, it's about alignment, and what this comes back to is something that of one of my heroes, my entrepreneurial heroes, Elon Musk talks about, and he talks about alignment and making sure that everybody in the business is in alignment. So, and this also helps when it comes to educating your potential customers and your prospects. If everybody is going in the same direction at the same speed, then he calls it having vectors align. And as a sort of scientist and is an engineer, a vector is something that goes in a particular direction at a particular speed. And his view is that if anybody within the business is slightly out of alignment, or if anybody's perception of those vectors is out of alignment, it has a negative impact. So being in alignment with on the right vector is absolutely key. And I think that can help you define your purpose. And when your purpose is that clear, then it can help you deal with negativity. Question I'd just like to put to you is, because again, it's something that the negativity and dealing, not taking things personally when people, attack you, or can happen in a number of different scenarios. So a question I want to put to you is, and for the people that are watching, should we give some examples of scenarios where we might face those kind of attacks?
I'm interested.
Yeah. and then because I personally have experienced it quite a lot, and I know you have too. Should we give some examples of scenarios where that might happen? Because I think if we've got people watching who are in the early stage of running a business, they may not have experienced this yet.
Yeah, let's do this. Anything on your mind? You want to give us an example first?
Okay, so yeah, I can kick it off. So we run Facebook ads. So social media is a really good example of this, I would say, where when you run a Facebook ad, and you guys watching, may or may not have run Facebook ads, you reach out to an audience that you define by using the Facebook process of people that don't necessarily know who you are. And so when I run an ad, I'll do a video ad promoting my business, and people will feel empowered to comment on that ad sometimes viciously, in a negative way. And they've got no idea who I am, really. They don't know me personally, but what they see is somebody who's selling to them. That when you catch them at the whatever time, and they'll literally, I mean, if anybody wants to see evidence of this, they want to check out one of my ads, Blam online, you'll get followed around, you'll see. And all of these people will be saying stuff that is, pretty horrendous, that they would never dream of saying to me face to face. But I get a barrage of all this sort of negativity. That's an example of what we're talking. So for me, how do I deal with not taking that personally?
Again, we're talking about we see it, we put something out there to offer a service. In this case, we are selling something. There's two components really. The first thing is to tell yourself, look at it and question it. Keep it up there. Don't let it come down here. Because this is the bit where it hurts. Physically and emotionally it hurts, and this is our heart center. So keep it up there, and to keep it up there in terms of this person this person has reacted. The word react. So if we can think of the one word, react, and it's crucial for us to think this, because this is something I've learned, I've taught over the years now. A person, when you're speaking to them, whether it be online, on a Facebook ad, or on the call that you're calling them as a cold call, is going to have a reaction to you. And the act bit, is how they're feeling inside about them, where they think they are in this world, and how they think the world is. And then you pop up on a call or on the screen, and then they see you as representing something which they're not happy about them in their life. Because when we're speaking to someone, we're speaking to their current version of who they think they are in life. I know we're going deep here, because we're trying to work out the psychology of someone that you think has spoken badly to you when you call them up. You call them up and say, no, I don't want to hear from you salespeople again. And you might then be, immediately it's gone to your heart, you can't breathe. But to start off your, for example, in this case, calls, if you cold call in or you call in new clients, with the fact that you're speaking to someone and they have got their own story they're playing out. They might have had a bad day. The wife might have just been cheating on them with their best friend. They might have been found out that somebody's embezzling their business. You don't know. You never know what's going on in somebody's life. So when we start doing that, you see, Grant, we're keeping the information up there. It's failing to go down there because we're too busy looking at it. We become the observer. So we're observing the information and thinking, okay, yeah, that person, their behavior was really poor. They've trolled me online. They've used swear words. They're obviously, and we're going to say, they're an angry person. They could well be an angry person, and they're treating you like they're treating their own neighbor. It could be that they're like this with their neighbor. Would you want to live next door to this person? So what this does, what I'm trying to make is, it depersonalizes the attack. It makes it, when we depersonalize anything, what we do is we take away the emotion away from it. So we've severed the emotion which is starting to form between that and that. And immediately at that time, then we're feeling, okay, no problems. Move next, please. Move on, next, please, So when we depersonalize something, we don't feel it anymore. We don't get hurt. We simply don't get hurt. Well, the question I've always said is, I wonder what's going on in that person's life. I wonder what's going on in their blueprint. I call it the blueprint. And when we start looking at that, immediately we're starting to look at it. We've looking from a different perspective. We're no longer looking at it as Grant, the CEO of Blam, daddy of Blam. We're looking at it as Grant the psychologist. We're looking at it as Grant. What's this person thinking? And then we can move on then quickly. So that's one way of doing it. The other thing is to look at it as well as that we would never take advice from someone we don't trust, someone who's not in a good space, someone who's not doing things like that. We would never take advice from them. So why are we going to take criticism from them? Why are we going to stand there and take it from them? That's like drinking water from a beautiful, gorgeous fountain or drinking water from a cesspit. We're not going to drink water from a cesspit. So we've got to think of this. What sort of water are you willing to drink?
I like that analogy. The David Rahman classic, that one. The beautiful fountain.
I was going deep there, but
that's awesome, mate. That's awesome.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
I mean, I think one of the things I always tell people and try and help them to intellectualize it is just to have empathy. It's one of the things that I bang on about, particularly if you're in sales. If you're running a business and the cold call scenario, you never know, like as you say, what's going on at the other end of the phone, or when these people are trolling you, or you get haters. You never really know what's going on in their life, and I just kind of have empathy, and I just make an assumption. I tend to have I kind of come at this from two different aspects. Although I think that a lot of people definitely need to spend more time educating themselves on an emotional level. 95% of people are pretty clueless when it comes to emotional intelligence. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I just find it to be the truth. But on the other hand, overwhelmingly, I think most people are good people and try and do the right thing. Yeah. They just tend to make bad decisions sometimes because their emotional intelligence is not something they've paid too much attention to.
Yes.
Which is probably obviously your speciality, in terms of what you do. And so by having empathy and me, the people that troll me on Facebook, I don't think they're bad people. I just think that they've not actually sort of invested in trying to understand why they would react in that way. They've not even questioned it. They've just reacted. And I have empathy for that. I think to myself, well, I'm sure, if they put a bit of time into thinking about why they feel that way or they've reacted that way, they would actually, think twice about doing it again. And so I tend to challenge them all. So whenever I get haters, and I get them regularly, I just challenge them, and I challenge them with humor, with a bit of humor, and a little bit of condescension, just to make me feel a bit better, just to challenge them that little bit. And you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. They always say, don't they, especially when it comes to cold calling, be a good example, advertising, if you don't get negativity, you're not trying hard enough. If you haven't got, you're not going to be the flavour of the month for everybody. You're always going to get people who act negatively. Unfortunately, human nature is people are much more likely to criticise than praise. It's like the TripAdvisor analogy, isn't it? People have a bad experience, straight on TripAdvisor. They have a great experience, nothing. And that's life, isn't it?
That's true. That's true. I mean, our brains are hardwired to protect us. So it's looking for something to make sure that we're safe. So when we have positive vibes, compliments, we tend to ignore them because, oh, yeah, that's nice. But when somebody says something, one thing can upset your day. One wrong thing can upset the rest of the afternoon. But the key for everyone watching this is don't let that wrong thing ruin your day. That one thing, because you might have this one call which doesn't go your way, and that energy from that call, you're still thinking about it, and you call in others that afternoon, and you're not your best self because you're still in that conversation from 2:00. So every time we take something personally, we're taking on an energy, and we're feeling it. We can feel it in our body, like our heart races a bit faster, we get sweaty palms. So one thing that people tend to feel, perhaps who are in sales and started their business, and they're young in business, is rejection. I mean, rejection is something, I think we talked about it before, but it's something that it's normal. No one wants to make you feel rejected. They're just saying their thing. It's you who's feeling the rejection. So it's for us to, when you're making these calls, no, okay, no. I get rejections. I put out proposals out there. No, we're not interested. No, we got this thing. It's fine. It's no problem, because I'm of the mindset, and this is hopefully everyone else can grab this. It's like there's always something great going to come to you. Always. There's always something great. So you've got this focusing mechanism in your brain called the reticular activating system, and it's designed to look for what it thinks you want. So you can either look for what you think is going wrong in life and focus on that, and guess what? The life is going to give you more of that because you have set your brain up to do that, like a thermostat. Or you can think of, right, no, life always comes trumps, always helps me out, always. And I've got a history of that. We've all got a history of that. And there's that saying, where attention goes, energy flows, and it's true. So everyone out there, go for the no, go for the rejection. Doesn't matter. It means you are moving forward, because the spectacular yeses are coming your way. They come. You're not going to allow it if you're consistently focusing on what went wrong. And I'd like to add to that, it's normal for us to think about what went wrong. And it's very normal to do that. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you spend the rest of the day thinking about what went wrong and focus on, I want to do things right. And I'm going to continue this. And this is the challenge to everyone out there watching this, that Grant's doing it, I'm doing it. We get setbacks, we get knockbacks. We won't stop because we have this message and this purpose. And when we get, as Grant mentioned, alignment, all that's saying is your actions, your thoughts and your beliefs are in sync with your message. They're not in sync if you're going to focus on, oh, that person rejected me. That's not going to be in sync. We can all look back and we can all be better. And I think that's alignment is key. So key.
It is. I've got another scenario for you, David, and I think this is one that quite a lot of people will relate to. How about if you receive an email that's that comes across as angry, or something that you take personally? How would you deal with that?
So I'm just looking at the 7-2 Villa Liverpool. Sorry, can you repeat the question, Grant?
I'm distracting you. I'll give you another one. There you go. So you receive an email then, and the email contains criticism and comes across as kind of an angry email. Have you got any advice on how to deal with an email like that?
Yeah. So to work backwards, this person has sent you an angry email. They're angry. What are they angry about? Is it angry about something they perceive you've done? Is it something that you haven't done? When you look at an email like that, there's an energy towards it. And what I would do is I wouldn't just stare at it. I would just look at it and stare at it and keep staring and keep replaying it, going back to it. A quick way of helping yourself is asking somebody else to look at that email as well.
That's a good one.
To actually share the energy, share the burden, and for them to give a different perspective. Because, again, immediately you've taken it to heart. Oh, this person doesn't like me. Oh, they hate me, and you're feeling their energy. And I don't send out nasty emails. I wouldn't. I would think about it deeply. So this person has not thought about it deeply. They have not thought about you. They've not thought about how you're feeling. They want their 2 pence. They want a piece of the pie. So you've got to then think about it. And what I would do is don't react and don't respond with negativity.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you what, David, just to put a slight perspective on this, have you ever had it where, and I had this recently, where you get an email and you read it, and because of the context that you're reading it in, because of your own emotional state, you read it in a way that the email reads more aggressively or more angrily than it actually is. So the context, and what you've just said about giving it to somebody else to read, would actually give it more context. Because I remember recently I had an email last week, I think it was, and I read it and I'm like, oh, straight away I'm reacting. That's an email that I'm not really happy about. And I thought, I'm not going to respond to that straight away. I'm going to look at it. And when I went back and reread it after a couple of hours, it was nowhere near as bad as the first time I read it. Isn't that weird?
When our internal state, how we're feeling, does dictate how we look at the world. So an angry man walking into a pub, he's angry. No matter what you're going to do, service you're going to give him, he's in a mood. So if we're opening an email in any semblance of what you just said, our filter that we look at it is different. It's completely different. It's like putting a pair of sunglasses on to a pair of pink glasses on. The world looks different, So what I can say is quick, fast action. Don't react to any email ever. If it makes you feel any sort of negative emotion, don't react to it. Revisit it. So this is going back to what Grant mentioned earlier on, emotional intelligence. It's all about emotional intelligence. And there's a book on it. Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. I think that's a really good book. It's a famous book. If anybody out there has trouble with their emotions, it's a good book. I've got programs coming out, talk about emotions, but we are driven by our emotions. And Grant, exactly what he's saying, that if you're 5%, 10% off kilter and you're not aligned, you're going to look at that email, that same with text messages. You might receive a text message and exactly the same things happen in the past where I'm not being 100%, look at text message, how dare they? How dare they?
Yeah.
And then later on, I've read the words wrong as well. Our vision gets distorted because we are seeing red mist. We're not there at the races. So just be wary, and that's down to emotional intelligence, EQ, and EQ is now being deemed more important than IQ. So people with high IQs not happy in life, not doing well in life. It's all about EQ, because if anyone out there who's got this business and they're watching, they got a business. People buy people. People buy it. People buy Grant, and that's the way it is. And I noticed whenever I've spoken to Grant, I was thinking this guy has got a really good EQ. I've thought that. I can just tell. You can tell from leaders. You can tell from people who worked on themselves clearly that their EQ is quite high. Who's joining us? Who's that
lovely chap from Holland?
Wow. How you doing, guys?
Thank you.
I hope you're not offended by me turning up late.
Oh my God! Just why do you even bother, Ed? Jesus Christ!
I know. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm not sorry actually, but because I just had a really good call, and it had to be done. But thanks, guys. I will be watching the replay. If you are watching this live, these guys are awesome. I'll leave you to it because I'm sure we'll get the recording up soon. I won't join in now and steal your flow. But yeah, really good.
Better late than never, though, eh?
Absolutely. You're looking remarkably well today, Mr. David Rahman. I'm having a man crush.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe I should shave.
Yeah, I had the rare visit to the bathroom today where I shaved. Yes, it's
top and bottom.
Top and bottom, yeah.
No, I can't. I'm afraid it's very, very, very long.
You're not
very long.
You're not challenged like me up there, so I have to shave what I've got.
I'm actually cultivating a little mullet.
Oh. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, we're just about wrapping up actually, so we're at that time where we've done our half an hour. But let's just wrap it up, guys, and sort of give people a bit of sort of final advice. As a little bit of somebody's taking it personally. So, what would you say, David, just as a sort of a bit of a conclusion in terms of helping people to not take criticism?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah, I think that everyone is on their own journey. So when you speak to your clients, you've just entered their journey, and when you speak to people, whether they react good or bad, everyone's on their own journey. And when I realized that was like, for me, I was like, game changer. Everyone's on their own journey, and you have to respect that. So if somebody is happy, they're happy. If they're angry, they're angry. It's something that you have to respect, and you have to you can't fight them. That's what I'm trying to say. The old adage, water in a stream doesn't try to flow, it flows. It sees rocks, it sees obstacles, but it just flows. It doesn't try to flow. So if we take things personally and try and change it, it's like trying to push water uphill. It's futile. So everyone's on their own journey. That's my final.
Totally agree. And I'm, you know, my advice is just have empathy. You know, if you get attacked, you know, verbally, or you know, if you feel like you've been mistreated in an email or on social media, as David said, these people are fighting their own demons. And in my experience, most people are good people. It's just that sometimes they may react badly given the circumstances. And we never know what's going on in somebody else's lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just never know. And that's why we have to have empathy. And I always think you've got to give people the benefit of the doubt. They may react badly and regret it the next minute, you know, and then life moves on. So just have empathy, guys. Don't take things personally. Remember, everybody's on their own journey.
I saw something recently. You know, Chris Voss, the hostage negotiator guy.
Yeah.
And he says, you become 31% smarter when you smile. And he said, when you got these high pressure situations, sometimes inducing or diffusing the situation can be just a little humorous thing. If you just drop something humorous in, something a bit, and I realized that I actually do that quite naturally sometimes. I walk into a situation and just, you know this, Grant, is just say something completely random. And then it's like people go like, what the hell happened there? And then the situation's gone. You know, whatever they were fussing about, just suddenly just disappears. Because you caught them.
It's usually extremely inappropriate and rude when you say it.
It's supposed to be humorous. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm taking it personally now.
Brilliant. All right then, guys. Well, David, as ever, absolute legend. Thank you for today, and thanks for joining us. Better late than never, Ed.
Really great to speak to you. Thank you again.
Have a great weekend.
Catch you later, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.